Let's see. Let's see about that.
You guys are on TV right now.
What's happening, guys?
What up?
Yep.
We have audio on the ads.
Well, we have to hear
We're getting there.
ad audio, but we have
Yeah.
smelly microphone audio.
Yeah, it is smelly microphone audio.
I don't smell it.
Smelly microphone audio.
I can hear it though.
It doesn't stink down here.
It's just, Thanksgiving just happened. Those 14 people fighting over beef tenderloin and turkey, where this table is right now.
I smell beef. I definitely.
Oh
pick up
yeah.
some beef.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's still a whole lot of the spirit of awesomeness. We're not wearing headphones, so everyone kind of feels a little like naked ears tonight. I don't know how I feel about that, but we're gonna roll with it.
It's gonna make this dome look a tad bit smaller.
We always got to comment on the obvious. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's thinning to not wear huge headphones, I guess.
All right.
Stand up straight, sit
I
down
gotta
on your
stand up
shirt.
straight.
Thanks for being with us. We're about to get started here on a Tuesday night. T, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on another Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Tim Strachan.
How's everybody doing tonight? Looking forward to this, man. I know football's over, but we got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Got some good stuff coming on. He's
Oh,
Kevin
yeah.
Ricca.
Yeah, it's that in between feeling, like it's after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. Football's over, but basketball is just getting warmed up. And you know what? I'm excited about all of it, man.
This is the WCAC Spectacular, and tonight we have no guest. We have no real capability for a guest tonight. Our
We have
headphone
no
amp.
agenda.
We have an agenda. First of all,
do?
we always of course we have
Well,
an agenda.
apparently you have no
Yeah,
agenda
I guess
tonight,
so, yeah,
but
you
I like
just-
that, you
I just
maniac.
came in, freestyling.
You're a
tonight.
wild man. I love it.
Yeah.
Don't
I look like one?
Christmas trees and pine cones on our main
It
website?
exudes crazy.
Oh
Sick out.
man, we can't hear each other through headphones. But
Yeah,
we can
we're
still hear each
headphones
other.
tonight.
Let us know how we sound, and we're going to
We
talk
have an
about
agenda,
some
but
stuff
no
going on.
headphones.
And be gentle.
Agenda item number 1: First
Okay.
Amendment Sports does begin the high school basketball season in earnest next Thursday night, December 12th, on this channel. You will see Bishop McNamara and New Hope tee off in a girls' game. Two of the top 5 teams in the country.
New Hope won it all.
defending national champions. I think we also have St. Francis and Riverdale in the first game. It's 12 teams, 6 games, awesome event. We're going to be talking more about it on, thank God it's Tuesday, which is our other Tuesday night show. That's going to be coming up. We'll have Darren McClinton in the house. But I just want you to know, hit the subscribe button on that logo behind me, and you'll get notifications. So if you want to see, the best girls high school basketball in the entire country, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Mustang. There's a number of those programs available to see, and we're gonna be bringing them to you. So, agenda item number 1 checked off. We're gonna talk about that again when
You
our main man
nailed that
Darren.
one, brother.
Yeah,
Nailed
we did it. We did it.
What do you think about that,
I
wild
wonder how many
man?
more we got.
Yeah. Whew. Oh, I'm kind of tired, actually, to be honest with you. It's the holiday season, and we're transitioning from fall to winter. What's up, Froghorn? How you
Darren
doing?
Clinton in the house.
And we're going to talk, I think, just a little bit about the awesomeness of the first few months of our WCAC experience, the fall season as we lead into winter. Get to see some awesome things up close in person. I'll give everyone a chance. I know you obviously have just been researching all your awesome moments all day, Mr. No Agenda Items. I'm tempted to make you go first, but I also know you have probably like 13 things ready to go, as do we all, because we just saw amazingness on the regular. 12. Why don't you get us started? Let's give thanks for some things
you
we
weren't
saw.
starting me.
I know. See, I did.
Thanks.
That's what
I have to start as a DeMatha grad. I have to start with Bill McGregor back on the sidelines. It's just it's like going home. Sort of. Everything felt right. No offense to Elijah, who did an unbelievable job in I believe the 5 years he wasn't here. Could be a little bit more than that, but
I think it was 8.
8.
Yeah.
But he's back, and he was right there. He was right there. Almost got into the big game again. I know he loved it. He loved being back with the kids, and I know alumni loved seeing him back there, and for him to step in there and have the season that they had. I'm just proud of him and proud of the whole thing. So that's the first.
All right,
thing,
well, that's a good one.
That's the first thing that I'm thankful
on
for.
that theme. So something cool that we got to see this year, Bill McGregor's return. That checks the box in a huge way. I have one. You got one?
Well, I want to echo that as a guy
course.
that's known Coach McGregor, pretty much 90% of my life. I said to him right after the playoff game, I said the league is a better league with you in it. Welcome home.
Well
and
said.
of course he said, no, it's just how he is, and we know that he's not a man that gives a crap about himself. He's about the kids and everyone else. And what a class act. And I was certainly ecstatic to have him back in this league. I mean, this is a guy who took a championship right out from underneath and I feel that way. So, I'm sure a lot of other people get that feeling. And at this time of year, with everything that happened in that game, him leading the prayer with both teams, that's the type of man that has led this league from the very beginning. And it certainly is great to have him back.
It was cool to see him patrolling the sidelines as early as the games that ESPN had the season opener out in California. I was going to say my thing that comes right off the top of my head for being thankful for was the hometown, the home fans support for us wherever we went. It was awesome. It was awesome. We had our setup. St. John's, Gonzaga, McNamara, the three that come right, that I think of immediately. It was the parents, the players' parents who get there early, who are there. They're setting up their thing while we're setting up our thing. We get to talk to them about the season that their kids are having, the awesomeness of the league, the best food around. People are shuttling us amazing
sandwich,
food.
baby.
Ken Harris, thank you
Yes.
so much, sir.
Yes, absolutely.
I was actually thinking about that fish sandwich the other day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's one hell of a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
I've been thinking about it since that day in Forestville. But Ken Harris going out and getting round 2 for us. I know
In
other
fact, I
people
think I was watching something on TV. It was like a commercial for a sandwich, and it made me think of it. And I just that thing on TV has nothing on.
No.
Did you want me to take your
Harris
top off?
fish sandwich.
No, but also pulling into Gonzaga's parking lot, having the Gonzaga dads, and getting to speak with some of them. I mean, my conversation with Mr. Johnson, Justice Johnson's father, going across the board. They had a parking space ready for T-Bird. They had our entrance marked off. They had sandwiches, water.
It was unbelievable.
Then, it was almost like I felt embarrassed. I was like, I feel bad. Like I don't have anything to offer to you, but. The way they brought
We'll
us
know for
in,
next time.
the way we were embraced at on Military Road, the men of St. John's, Brad Ripazzo and that crew of guys, that's just Kevin Carey. Those guys looked out for us big time. You're talking about Ken Harris over there at McNamara going nuts, and then Joe Rada inviting us over.
Joe Rada.
Brian Griffin and Joe Rada have always looked out that way, and you know what? I am thankful for that as well, Ken.
Yep.
You guys hit 2 nails on the head. And I'm going to go out there and say that I'm thankful for our second year of coverage, a championship game at Catholic University, and once again, we get a thriller. The 3 of us get to sit there, feeling the vibrations of the stadium shaking, waiting till the final second till that game was over. And it was the same thing last year. I mean, we're 2 for 2 there. They got to keep inviting us back because we're good luck over there.
And it was going to come up at some point in the show. We're thankful for folks who click on the subscribe button. We're about 100 away from our next milestone. So if you are a subscriber and you have somebody that you talk about this stuff with, just tell them to hit the button. Let's get over our next hump here with the Google machine. Let's talk about.
How about just thankful too for the sponsors?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Good.
Shulman Rogers, Capital Hardscapes, Matten, Beltway Cleaners, H&B, the
Father McCann Center,
Quarterback Factory. I want to say them all. And hey, Darren, help me with the name of that deli. Call your mother. I just wanted you to say it. Call your mother. That's going to be our sponsor on a going forward basis for some basketball coming up. Again, we'll be talking about that more on Thank God It's Tuesday. Please tune in. People willing to stay next to us. It's like when you first ask people to help you out, people help you out because, we have awesome friends who believe in what we're doing. But then we do it, and people see what people are watching and talking about it, and then they want to be part of it because they see us as, a partner for getting the word out.
Well, that's what I was going to say. At very first, it was kind of like a pat on the head. Like,
Hey,
good luck
go
out
get
there.
'em.
You homely looking trio of whatever.
You what, like 5
And
to
then,
10?
You know
There you
what?
go. Come on.
You know what? I think, just listen, I think people understand how we feel about what these kids do.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're not involved in the politics. We're not in charge of Johnny's playing time. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good spot to be in to love what we love.
Yeah.
And it comes natural for us because we've lived it for, a combined 100 years of service and passion for the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference. It's right here at this poker table.
And speaking of service and family and all that too, we have to mention Pettibone as well, who stepped up.
You're right.
Of course. And anybody that's helped us in the past, SunTrust out there, and then we've had a bunch of people that have stepped up. Marie Williams at Keller Williams is trying to do it the best she can, and people that are trying to also find a way moving forward for us to combine into a partnership. That's awesome, man. We've been down here doing this for a couple of years, and it's very cool what it's turned into. And it's very cool that how we've been embraced and how we've been able to embrace everyone around us. I feel like we're a cool part of the league, and I don't want to bang our own drum here. I'm not. I'm just saying the way that people have embraced us. I'm very thankful for.
And we tell everyone out there who's watching and listening about it. I want everyone to know that we want to partner with you guys on a production basis. We want to get the Luke and Victors of the world involved with us. We can shoot your commercials. We can record spots. We can get you involved in the actual production. So if you're watching and you have a business that you want to promote and get the word out, not only can we put you on the screen from a logo standpoint, but we want to shoot your commercial.
I want to shoot our commercial.
Yes. So
many ideas for our commercial.
Let us know. We have some good ones. We have been bottling them up for
we have a lot of
few
ideas.
years. Lots of ideas.
Oh yeah. Some that maybe may never come to light. They may be a little.
We're not FCC regulated. We're just
no, that's true.
WCAC affiliated.
But we are morally
so
regulated.
Yeah, that's true.
There's some
that's
stuff
what I meant.
that we've talked about.
No, nothing terrible.
Nothing terrible.
No, just
no filth, flour, and filth. Just a little good, clean, and wholesome fun. Yeah.
The
shirtless Ken, Mr. January. That's
Mr.
January.
January.
Starting. Yes.
It's cold. It's cold.
The calendar,
it's
which was
month.
the idea right before we went live. Yeah.
It's going to be a sweet calendar.
It's going to be an amazing calendar.
Bring us your ideas.
Drink this all in and then picture us.
Think about 12 months of basement, and you're going to kind of know where we're at. I want to transition from that and talk about the amazing individual performances, just a few. And we could sit here all day long and talk about amazing individual performances, but we got to see a few really, really great ones. I'll get it started so you guys know kind of what I'm talking about. Antoine Littleton in the game against Gonzaga. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was a factor at running back, and he played all day, I believe, at defensive line. People were talking about, it's a great win for St. John's. There's a lot of guys who showed up on that field that we could easily include in this very same conversation. But I just can't remember watching a game where one guy affected the game as much as he did, because he did it on both sides of the ball in a huge fashion, and it blew me away. Antoine Littleton in the St. John's Gonzaga game at Catholic University. I tip my hat to you, sir. That was an awesome night. He was surrounded by guys doing a lot of great things, good calls by coaches all around. But every time you saw something happening, he seemed to be in the middle of it. And when they needed something, he got it.
I want to say like a Mr. Versatility, but he's a little bit different than like the utility guy that we talk about, the Swiss Army knife that Darren always talks about. He's like that bigger, much bigger, gaudier, Swiss Army knife. That's way bigger than the original one. That's just.
Bigger.
I mean, it's just.
He's a monster truck.
It's different than anyone.
Yeah,
the fact that he can have that impact on the line, defensive line, and then go into the backfield and do the things that he does, and then have make a catch, 15 yards downfield on a broken play.
Everything he did right.
Wow.
How he affects a box score, I think, is unique.
It is
to maybe at any era.
Because you could say like the DeMarco Helms of the world,
right.
The way they fill up a box score is different
right.
than the way Antoine Littleton did it. But to be able to be
both pretty special in their own right.
Of course.
And that's factual. Yeah, we're talking about the unique way.
Yes.
Your name is where you get your stats and tackles, sacks, receptions,
Carries, touchdowns, yards.
people flying off of you at 3,000 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Just how he affects a game is
And the
completely
attention
unique.
that was
Completely unique.
drawn to him,
Yeah.
just having him on the field.
Yeah.
There were plays that were made. Soldier made some plays. There were plays that were made by other guys because 4 guys had to sell out for number 7.
Well, listen, I know you come to me, you start with the St. John's guy.
Yeah.
But if we stick to St. John's for the time being, I have to say that the Rakim Jarrett performance in the regular season, and he was also fantastic in the championship game against Good Counsel, but in the regular season, St. John's had 4 starters out, a backup quarterback, and 2 backup linemen. He had 11 catches for 195 yards, and that hitch he caught and went 82 yards was, I'm going to miss him. I've watched him play football for the better part of the last 5 years. I'm going to miss his style. Ed Orgeron is going to enjoy the hell out of his style because what he brings to the receiver position that separates him from everyone else in the nation is a ridiculous toughness. He's a bad man. He's not a diva. He's just a physical specimen. And as fast as he is as hard as he'll hit you. And that performance against Good Counsel stuck out to me. He made play after play after play and showed exactly why he is the premier wideout in the nation.
And he reminds. I love Jarvis Landry. I know Odell Beckham. I know why Odell Beckham is Odell Beckham. He's special. I get it. I've always been a Jarvis Landry guy, and I like to think of Rakim in that kind of mold.
Except for Rakim is a step faster than him.
I understand.
As we speak. That's all.
I
That's
understand.
the only difference
And he
between
is.
those two.
But Jarvis Landry is fast.
I know he is. But Rakim's different.
I understand. I think he's certainly tougher than ODB for starters. That's why I wouldn't compare him to ODB just because I think
different. That's a different cup. They're both different, but I know what you're saying.
One, it's
LSU
too early
boys.
to compare him.
Yeah.
One, he's only in high
Well,
school.
no, but he's going to LSU.
I'm
That's
just
why I
talking
put it.
that noise.
But he's Rakim.
Yeah.
He's going to LSU,
He doesn't
that's
need
why.
to be anybody else.
Who do you got?
I'm looking forward to see what he does just as Rakim because he's going to be a special player going forward. I can't believe we haven't even gotten to the champions right now, and I have to. It can't
We've
be
only
just
gotten.
one guy.
We're getting to
Everyone just gets
everybody.
one.
Yeah,
I know. But it can't be just one guy because I don't think we can talk about Good Counsel
They're
without
gonna be like Darren.
speaking of both Mitchell Melton and
Have
Chris
to.
Jenkins
Have
in
to.
the same sentence because those two guys, special in their own right, but together they were awesome to watch.
Mm-hmm.
The you want to talk about having an impact on the game, not on both sides of the ball, but just on one side of the ball. Those two guys are special players. Coach Stefanelli talked about it the other night when he was on with us over at the Knights, and it was just fun to watch those guys, and then also just to be a part of calling a game and being able to share in the enjoyment of watching two really special football players that I'm looking forward to, watching a lot more football from.
They shot themselves up into the all-time conversation of defenders in this league. And I know exactly what you're saying about not playing on the other side of the ball, but their presence on defense certainly altered offensive game plans defensive game plans for the other team. You had to make sure, you had to stop those guys because you did not want those. It's like keeping a quarterback off the field. You wanted to keep that defense off the field. And those two guys on either side of the ball, relentless dominance is what they displayed the last 2 weeks of the season.
Perfect way of putting it. I mean, it was a sight to see. And, I'm watching them all year long too.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a fluke game or they were great in this one game. They brought that every game, and that was pretty awesome.
And we're gonna miss Savion too. He filled up the highlight reel down in this basement. We talked about him a ton.
I still don't get it. I mean, congratulations on getting your first offer and all that.
Yeah,
Merrimack.
Where are those bigger schools?
hey, that's fine. Listen, it just takes one
they're
place.
missing out.
And I agree with you
know.
1,000%.
Hey, go do your
Yes,
thing
1,000%.
where you're going and keep doing you
He
because
will
you're
dominate
unbelievable.
the next level.
Absolutely.
If it's at Merrimack, they don't know what's coming. So, hey, man, sometimes it's okay to be a big fish in a small pond. If education's free and that's the deal,
that's what
these
it's
NFL
really
guys,
about.
if that's the dream, they find guys anywhere at any time at this point.
Yep.
It's not like it used to be. If you're out there and you can achieve your next level dreams while getting a free education, then thumbs up to him for getting that first offer. And that's the first step. But if that's all it is, God bless, because he's gonna crush it.
Coaches, the cool thing we got to do around the WCAC is
we
talk about.
have to talk about a couple other guys. We can't just leave out the hurdle. We can't leave out Caleb. I mean, your boy
Yeah.
jumping
All right,
over everybody.
I
I'm just
was
saying,
trying
real
to make
quick.
it-
I'm with you. I know, but real quick.
A lightning round of
I know
extras.
Marshawn Lloyd's hurdle was one of the highlights in the history of this conference.
It was amazing.
Now, that's
Number
what I'm
one,
saying.
number
I don't
one
wanna
on
leave that
top
out.
10.
Right.
That night.
Yeah, that's all. I'm just trying to give, and then Caleb. I just want to say one thing
Caleb,
about Caleb.
specifically against DeMatha, too, in my opinion.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
He was lights out that 90-yard
we,
run.
we
That
got
was
to
really
see in person. I mean, he had
140-yard run.
Yeah, he had other games where it was he literally put that team on his back and won games.
I'll just move it on, Ken, but let me just say this final piece. At the beginning of the year, we brought it up here. Ed Orgeron got interviewed down in Baton Rouge about his new recruiting. He's taking on new places. And one of the places that one of the local reporters asked him about was, hey, we noticed you were up in the Washington metropolitan area for the last week and a half. And he went on and on and on about, I wish we had gone there earlier. The level of ball there is ridiculous. The amount of talent there is outrageous. We're going to put our flag in it. You know, they got Rakim coming. And this past week, they had Caleb Williams down from Wednesday to Sunday. Not a 2-night visit. Caleb Williams brought his parents. Caleb Williams and his parents ate a personal Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving night at Ed Orgeron's table. That, to me, says everything about Ed Orgeron. He said at the beginning of the season how he felt about what's going on up here, and specifically this conference.
Oh, yeah.
And he stuck to it. He's got a superstar coming down there in Rakim. And can you guys imagine if a year from now we could sit here and talk about LSU Tigers with a couple years with Caleb Williams chucking it to Rakim Jarrett,
That's gonna be
an
amazing.
old school St. John's Gonzaga connection. I just had to bring that up because Ed Orgeron was so passionate about talking about this area as a recruiting hotbed that he was upset that they hadn't gotten to before now. And now they're all over the place. There's multiple offers at St. John's, multiple offers in the WCAC. Colin Henrik is down there on an unofficial, the starting center for St. John's, hanging out with the quarterback.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just
Joe
wanted
Burrow,
to,
yeah.
I just wanted to, some of those guys, and I'm going to miss those guys playing ball. Most of them forever, but, you know, we got Caleb for one more.
Yep.
So I'm sorry. Let's get into the coaches. I just know that we're going to walk down the streets in the next month, and then people are going to be like,
That was gonna
"Are you
bug
not going
him.
to talk
That was
about?
gonna bug
Are
him.
you not going
He
to
had
talk about
get it
this?"
off his chest.
You're right, and hey, I'll take any opportunity we can to say all those names. I thoroughly enjoyed. I'm trying to think of. I don't want to take up all the time. I'll give that you guys talk about it. I mean, I'll kick the coaches off. Obviously, it was an honor and privilege for me to introduce Keanu Malloy into the Hall of Fame at McNamara. That's a huge family. All his a lot of guys from '89 McNamara were there, and you know, I mean, it's special for guys like that. Even more so. I mean, I you know, to see a guy like that lose. I mean, everybody's there. You know, he's emotional. Everyone's emotional for him, and that was awesome. And so
Did you hold it together? Because I know how you feel about things like this.
The MC's got to hold it together, man.
I held it together just fine. I mean, I was definitely, you know, I was all no one was
There's
looking
no
at
crying
me.
in MCing.
I was way
There's
off
no
to the
crying.
side.
You know what?
Everyone was paying attention.
You got to
to
shed
him.
a tear. You got to shed a tear. I'm just asking.
I just like it when there's examples of it all over the place, and I just get to talk about a guy who's invested in my school the same way I am.
Oh, yeah.
He's from it.
That's
he
what I'm
lives
saying,
it. He
dude.
loves it, and it's great for McNamara. I'm excited about the future. There's no better place in high school football to be, you know, at this point. I mean, you're the fifth team of five, of that five, and you can say, you know, we're not just trying to aspire to somebody else's definition of greatness or whatever anyone thinks of. I mean, we're trying to aspire to compete with these four top 25 teams in the country. I think it's a great spot for McNamara. I think they got the right guy. I hope that he continues to, you know, fight through it and you know, take the lumps that come in playing these teams. And McNamara, I feel great about the future for McNamara football because of that.
Yeah. No, and, you know, a guy that you said 89, I did the math. That means he graduated 30 years ago, and he's the head coach now.
Yeah.
That's so important to have a man with that, you know, background leading your program. That's who's going in, who just went to the Hall of Fame. I mean, what's more important than that? These kids, they know that. They see that. They see a man who's fully invested. They know he's not messing around, and that's why they play for him that hard. That's why those kids go out there. That's why the Quinn Osbornes and the Kenny Womacks, who we're going to miss as well, go out there and lay it all on the line against anyone on that other side of the field because they come in there and that's their leader. That's That's a very important thing in this conference, and I have much respect for it. That's what I thought, knowing you, and this is a respectful conversation that, that'll shake you up a little bit, trying to get a few words out there, watching that emotion.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, without a doubt. And hats off to Tony Johnson. There was they named an award after him. I think he was 88.
Am I eligible to get that? Because I would like to be.
Oh, the Tony Johnson Award?
I'd like to do any. I'm not eligible. Just tell me
Everybody
before I
should
start.
want to get the Tony Johnson Award.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they basically, it's a guy, I think he started as a religion teacher. He's basically done everything at Bishop McNamara since the early 90s. He's taught everything.
Well, anyways, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it was a surprise. His family had flown in. They were in the other room, and his classmates were sprinkled in, and they filmed like this whole video that they played. It was awesome. So, yeah, it's hard to hold it together during those moments. But I know you guys have got. We talked about Coach McGregor.
Yeah.
But there's examples of great coaches in this league for a million different reasons, and we got to be up close and personal to them.
And each and every single one of those head coaches, we'll say thank you to, have given us their undivided attention and time during a point of the season when they didn't have any time.
Yeah.
That's, to me, growing up in the household of a head football coach in this conference, there's no time. You try and divide up, 6 kids, a football team, a season, a film, and they've been so generous and gracious, every single one of them. Coach Casamento, Coach Stefanelli. Coach Stefanelli coming out last Tuesday.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Kevin, after hanging, because he came to the basement last year, he's talked to us on the phone. He hung out with us at Knights of Columbus and was on our show. And I was like, the next day, I'm like, I feel like I should just call him and just say, hey, I wonder what Andy's thinking about right now. I wonder what he's doing. We should just, it was like Andy, he was so cool. And everybody was kind of drawn in, and he was dishing it out and he could talk about anything. And I was like, man, it feels weird that we're not having Andy on, tonight.
He was a hit down there at the Knights. He knew a ton of people. We had a great conversation with him for a long time. And you know what? They always say the team, has the takes on the personality of the head coach. And you know what? He is a no-nonsense guy, but totally chilled out and laid back. Grassroots guy, start from the bottom, earn it, work hard, discipline. 4 years into it, 11 starters on defense, senior guys, 11 out of 12. And he was talking about how they got there. But for him to come out and donate his time there, and he talked with everyone, and just no ego about it. He didn't walk around with his chest puffed out. He sat there listening to a lot of people. He's a cerebral guy. And then we got him started telling a few stories, man. I didn't want to leave.
No.
We had a great time. It was a great Thanksgiving week leading up to that. Coach Drivers did that for us right here last year, walking in here and bringing the trophy. And
then Coach Turner. And then Coach O'Neill.
Well, I'm just trying to stick to the football stuff.
Stick to football, because
we sat here and watched the Nats take down on a Tuesday night, Game 6, right here with Coach Bean and Scribner just having at it. But these guys have been so classy, and it's not that they just come on and show up, do their thing, and leave. We've gotten to be friends with these guys. You know what I mean? We've developed relationships that I know will last a long time, and hopefully through First Amendment Sports, that'll be part of it. But the cameras don't need to be rolling for us to all have a good time and talk about stuff. And we're not out there banging the hard questions, and I think they appreciate that. Hey, so-and-so going to play, or what do you think about the 4-3 defense versus the 3-3-5? No. Let's hang out. How's the season?
I liked hearing old stories from Casamento, talking about his days also with Christian Brothers and that kind of stuff. Hearing the stories about a lot of the assistant coaches, some of the guys that we played against, back in when we played that are now back. Phil Savoy at St. John's, and we got somebody on the board, R.I.P. Sean T, who wants to throw out to Coach Medeiros at Good Counsel, the offensive line coach that only had one returning starter in the whole line, and helped orchestrate that. What they were able to do. I mean, those stories, those guys, those people spike out at St. Mary's Riken. Guys like that, having Kevin Lewis join Coach Rollridge last week.
Charles and Kevin were just as much fun.
St. Mary's Riken.
Don't want to leave those guys out. We had a ball with them
awesome
Tuesday
stuff,
as well.
Man. Awesome stuff.
It is. And you reminded me, T, shout out to the Gonzaga O-line. You guys were a thrill for us to cover for the last few years. Let's not leave that crew out.
Conrad Sting, too.
Those guys do it right. Yeah, well, he's part of my football family. I got to coach him. I was the quarterback coach down in Hampton City.
We didn't say his name.
It's nice to have the number one receiver in the country at coaches' meetings, and everyone else is getting yelled at. And I'm like, my guy just went for 11 and 210 and 2 teeters. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm going to go over and hang out with Conrad. Another class act guy in this league, you know.
We talk about him because he deserves to be talked about because he does great things at WCAC, and he's been awesome to us. Is Brian Griffin? I get a kick out of watching him on the sidelines, because we get to watch him on the sidelines because we got to do a bunch of St. John's games this year, and he
That's
goes
certainly
from
a different hat.
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
totally different hat.
I've said it a number of times. He strikes a pose. He paces the field hours before the game when we're running wires and doing sound checks. And then he's coaching tight ends and special teams, and I just think that's cool. I mean,
and
he's
coaching tight ends and special teams like a tight end special teams coach would.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't smile or laugh or
Not like an AD would, like
exactly.
you would expect.
But it's old school to watch him get the caution tape and tape off the sections and have everything set because he's ready for anything that's happening. And one of the things that I'll tip my cap to him was that when we had Deerfield Beach down and the young man overheated,
I was going to say it too.
and
Yeah.
the precautionary measures that were taken long before that game kicked off was the reason why that young man is okay. I'm not going to say it was going to be whatever, but that was eliminated by what happened right away.
Actually, I have to say that probably is the moment of the season.
Yeah, let's talk about the moment of the season.
When he went down, God, I'm forgetting the
King.
His name King. His last name was King.
Duran King.
Duran King, and just the way the kids jumped into action once they realized the severity of it, and then their football game wasn't even a part of the discussion.
Yeah, that was a 4 hours and I believe 4-minute telecast or broadcast for us that day.
That was, and we talk about.
You were hot,
what's
man.
really-
You were.
it was so hot.
It was tough
But
for you.
that in my mind will always stick with me. Watching, that and watching the two teams come together, just like we did at the DeMatha St. John's game, because. Again, this stuff is way more than just winning a game or winning a championship. I know that we get all excited about that stuff, but we get to experience so much more than beyond that doing this, and that was certainly one of the best moments, if not.
We're the
best
Washington
moment.
Catholic Athletic Conference, and we've
2019.
got to stick together, or we are no longer the greatest conference in
Right.
the United States of America.
Right.
We don't just flip that out there, and it's not about stats or scores or talent. It's about what we are, who we are.
community.
DC's 10 miles wide. This is not a huge spot. This is not Florida or California or Texas. This is our little nook and cranny of the East Coast. And man, is it talent rich. But if we don't look out for each other, it doesn't work.
Right.
And moving forward, we will do that. And I was just so happy to be a part of some of the coverage when we did do that.
Yeah.
And get to see this generation of kids get to see the right thing to do.
Right.
Placing priorities in the right spot.
Without a doubt. Yep.
Golden Achumba's dad,
Awesome moment.
Fashanu's dad helping Golden Achumba.
Golden Achumba.
Mr. Fashanu,
Yes.
who was telling us that the good council guy was going to have to sing a different song. And then watching him
great.
go out and see his
Mr.
son's future
Fashanu,
teammate
love
do
him.
that. That was so cool. It was right in front, and I'm looking down, and I went, oh, it all hit. I was like, man,
Oh, like someone help him.
that's happening.
Of
Yeah.
all the people in the entire place,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
It really was. He was the right man for the job, and he didn't hesitate for 1 second. He just jumped in and waited, got him on the enemy sidelines. But I say enemy, but they might be enemies where that clock is ticking in between the lines. But before
I
and
hated
afterward,
you when
it's
we were
over
playing
with.
against each
other. Yeah, I would always say someone else would hop into the driver's seat. I'd said stuff to you. I said words to you I didn't even know I knew, but I felt like I should say that to you at that moment. As long as I knew I was getting a ride with you out to where we were going afterwards,
Right.
we were still good.
Brian
and I
McCarthy's
did,
house.
and everything worked. But we want these kids to know that, but we don't have to tell them that. It's a learned behavior.
It is.
And the men like, Bill McGregor, Joe Casamento, Andy Stefanelli, Randy Trivers, Keata Malloy. That's what I'm so proud about. Those guys right there that we covered this year, a majority of the season, those guys set the example. It's the trickle-down effect. And from what I saw, do you guys remember seeing a fight or like a fisticuffs or like there's a couple little things here and there. But, T and I grew up, every third game was a bench-clearing brawl in the 80s. Like maybe it was just different
The
generation.
80s were way worse than the 90s for sure. But
Yeah,
yes.
it was. And now, these guys play a ridiculous brand of ball, super physical, super talented. But, I didn't see a lot of jawing. I didn't see anyone get ejected in a game this year. I didn't see any of the kids given ref hell or anything like that. These kids have gotten to a point where these programs are run with discipline, and in this conference, it has to be. There's only one way to do it.
Given the worst business I saw given to a ref was through the window at Catholic. A parent who shall remain nameless. I won't even say what school they were supporting because I don't even want to go that far. But someone literally came up to where the alternate refs, the refs in the press box, and they like knocked on the window and they slid it open, and she just laid into a variety of things. And they're like, security, what's going on here? Like, why'd you open the, like, close the window? She's holding the window open. And I was like, oh, my God, is this really happening? This lady is just laying into these refs.
It was
like,
a window tug of war.
It was a window tug of war. I kind of had to respect the effort.
Well, she was a young lady whose knowledge of the high school play clock was far greater than I anticipated.
Yes.
You reset it to 25.
Al
You should have set
Batista
it
would
to
have been
40.
proud, huh?
Yeah, she was like, seriously.
Come on.
And I was like, it's the referee's discretion. And he's like, it's our discretion, but we need security. Right?
Get this person out of here. Oh, that was great. Shout out to Xavier Restrepo. Those kinds of moments were cool. Guys who you didn't expect.
Yep.
You knew were
Same Deerfield game. That kid, he's going to Miami, I believe.
Yeah.
as an athlete.
He was the wide receiver for the first half of the game, and then when King went down, and
quarterback.
I believe the backup went down too. Or no, the backup wasn't ready because he had a previous injury.
And he had played the rest of the season.
He comes in and actually played the position the way you're supposed to play.
He gave St. John's
got the ball out of his
everything
hands.
that they could handle.
Actually, was able to move the team down the field and score against St. John's. I mean, that was pretty awesome.
Amazing backyard football player. He had obviously never worked on his footwork or blah, blah, blah. He just got it done.
Remember that name?
Yeah.
Xavier Restrepo.
Not hard to remember.
He'll be making plays in the ACC for
forget.
the next 4 or 5 years at whatever position they so desire.
Yep.
'Cause he gets it done. That was a cool moment. That was.
I wish I could remember the cornerback from IMG, the top guy, and whose name
you're
escapes
killing
me. I
me.
wish I could. He's
LSU bound. Him and Rakim are going to go up against each other every day.
Yeah, he's the best cornerback in the nation, and when you see him up close and in person, it's very, very easy to see why. That was awesome, getting to see guys like that. I'm disrespecting him by not being able to pull his name out from nowhere, but
It's on the. You're killing me here.
it's a K.
I'm
I think,
embarrassed.
too.
I'm
D and a K.
embarrassed.
We'll get it. We'll write the Elias Ricks.
Yes.
Thank you,
exactly who
R.I.P.
it
Sean
is.
T.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That was going to
two
torment.
shout-outs.
I can't believe
Yeah.
Look,
Well,
Xavier.
that's awesome that we got the feedback.
It is.
Sean
That's very
Emerson,
cool. Xavier
appreciate
Ricks.
you, too.
I've got all year long. Xavier Ricks is stud O lineman for good counsel, and I have an XK thing going on for
Yep.
Ricks, and yeah,
Elias Ricks.
yes, he was all of it.
Yep.
Another thing to appreciate, just because I know that they're listening, is our board guys. Some of them not all here tonight, but tonight we got Jonathan Gonzalez, Brian Sanders, John Emerson. We talked about R.I.P. Sean T. Thanks, guys. And thanks to AGH and Eric Anderson and all those guys that have been following us and talking to us. It's been good.
I
times,
think we
man.
should queue up a little bit of a basketball preview next week. We'll see if we can't wake up Froghorn and get him on
Take a
here
little nap.
next Tuesday and talk some season preview stuff. Maybe we'll let that bleed a little bit into our Thank God It's Tuesday show. But until then, man, I think we hit all of our agenda items. T.
Put a bow on it, man.
We did. We'll be back next Tuesday night to talk about the greatest high school sports conference in the land. We got a fresh season of action coming on First Amendment Sports, live basketball, live ice hockey at some point. That is a promise we are making, and we will be there for the championship. We'll keep you posted on how that's going. And until next week, he's Tim Strachan.
Appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys listening in to us. Appreciate all the coaches, the schools, the kids. Look, great football season. Looking forward to basketball, man.
Kevin Ricka?
Yeah, I can't wait for basketball. I wish we could take a snapshot right now of Darren McClinton, who'll be joining our broadcast, because that does not look like a triple threat position to me, Darren. But, listen.
It's pretty close.
Well, there's one foot on the ground, one in the air, 2 hands in the hoodie pulled over. He looks like he's asleep.
We might need to take his pulse.
I'm
worried.
Hey, to all the everyone that played football this season that we covered, you guys put on a show. You always do. We're so proud to be a part of it. And until the winter season, everyone be a good sport.
All you guys out there, stay grounded and be rounded.
There you go. And I'm not going to let us talk about the fall season without making sure people know how much fun it was for me as a soccer player at Bishop McNamara to cover the boys and the girls finals at Catholic University, the girls field hockey finals, and the girls volleyball finals. Congratulations
Jubilee.
to St. John's, Gonzaga, Good Counsel for being prominent champions on those days. Seton and who did Holy Cross
Volleyball.
that lost to St. John's in volleyball. So awesome group of schools that we otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to cover. A good way for us to step out of our football comfort zone in the fall. We'll figure out a way to increase that next year somehow, some way. But a very successful fall season for us in the sense that a lot of other people did some awesome things that we happened to be there for at the same time. So I'm Ken Marangolo. This is First Amendment Sports. And this was the WCAC Spectacular. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for everything, guys.
Our director is
Froggo, wake up, man.
Still live, still live. Thanks to the board.
Are you sick?
Appreciate it. See you, brah.
Does he need a blanket?
He's not moving.
Is he out?